you please tell us about your struggles within the industry and how you were perceived by others within it?
Yeah, I think, there's always positives and negatives. A lot of times we hear about the negatives with disability, right, and in the workplace. But I do think that there are also things that make me better at my job because of my disability forward mind. Uh, Among them, I would say, is a perspective to frame things differently, to think about the agency of the camera and where it moves and how it moves and when and why. So in a lot of my films and a lot of my work, if you watch it, you'll see that the camera moves almost very much like a wheelchair. Because surprise, the origin of the dolly was actually invented in a wheelchair. John-Luc Godard, among other filmmakers, used wheelchairs to achieve budget dolly type shots, which I'm always like to mention. And so a lot of my camera work is Ronin or Steadicam gimbal based. It's very movement oriented because movement's a big part of my life. It's a very important part of the perspective of, I think back to pushing my family around, pushing my dad around in his chair, or carrying, for instance, my dad up the steps of a building like the Parthenon or something like that. So yeah, I would say that that's how my disability positively influences my work. It makes me think about moving camera, weirdly and funnily enough. And then, in a terms of a perception way, it's taken me a long time to come to the point where, not only in the industry, but just generally, I'm identifying as disabled, as somebody who has non-apparent disabilities. I think I realized later in life how important it was to be forward about those things, that no one would, in fact, pick up on those cues or know the difference unless I said something about it. But I also had to deal with, in turn, the risk of, identifying as non-apparently disabled and then worrying about, whether I was seen as hireable by producers, whether somebody would in fact consider me for a job knowing that I identified as such. And obviously, there's different degrees to which you can do this, but I've chosen to just be very open and vocal about it, because I realize that the need for people to understand that somebody like myself, yes, you don't look disabled, is the famous quote, but yes, I in fact am, is an important part of their own processing and other people's processing, and beginning to understand how much disability affects all of us and is a factor in all of our lives.
For more information, visit theavaproject.org.